Let's Talk with Heather Dubrow starts now. Oh my gosh. I'm pre-recording this a little bit because we're going on a vacation, because it's our anniversary. So I brought in a special guest star. I brought in the one, the only, my fabulous husband, Terry Dubrow. Yay!
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Heather, Paige, Kent Dubrow, for having me. I appreciate that.
I love you. We're pre-recording this a little bit because we're going on a trip for our 25th wedding anniversary. I'm excited about that. We're going to talk about that. But first I have to show you my glowy, beautiful skin. I had a Salmon Sperm facial.
That's so interesting and so pornographic at the same time. The question is, how was the salmon sperm delivered to your skin? Was it just placed on top of it like a porno flick or what?
No, the salmon did not like finish all over my face. What happened was they take this little device that it feels like a square, kind of like the size of a postage stamp, and they puncture your skin, sort of like a mini micro needling.
Inject it with the puncturing?
Say that again?
They inject it with the puncturing, or they puncture and then place on top?
They place it, puncture, place again.
Right.
And so it infuses into the top layers of your skin, very similar to what I do when I go to Doug Mest and get the aqua gold needles. But this was Dr. Ellie. And so she did her normal cupping and needles and things. And then I got my salmon sperm. I got to tell you, my skin is fantastic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's like glowy and dewy. And then I hurt my back the other day. And so she did some needles and cupping to get rid of the inflammation. And it feels so much better because I gotta be in good physical shape for the salmon sperm on our vacation.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important that people understand that there are several ways to get products delivered to your skin. And the typical way is just the topical cosmeceutical, we call it, where you just put on your skin and you hope it absorbs. But there's another way, a better way, that not only if you make holes in the skin, you can get it to absorb through those channels, but if you actually damage the skin deep enough with a controlled wound, like a microneedle at a certain depth that goes into the dermis, you not only can get the active ingredients deep into the skin, but you can induce the skin to heal. And when a skin heals, it makes its own growth factors and it makes its own anti-inflammatory things, and it rejuvenates because it has to make new skin in those wounding channels. So one of the main things that you can do is you can go to Amazon.com and get microneedling rollers. And I'm telling
you, like the at-home ones? You think that's safe to use at home?
By the way, I was shocked, but you can buy scalpels on Amazon.com. So you
but let's not operate at home.
I know, but you can buy microneedling rollers on Amazon that go way deeper than I would recommend. And so there's a lot of really good videos on YouTube about how people use microneedling for hair regrowth, men and women. And it's super effective. In fact, it's so effective. I'm so impressed with the results in the literature that, we have Console Health, Console Beauty. We're going to make our own precise microneedling delivery tool. And if anyone's interested in hair regrowth or in amazing absorption of skin, microneedling on the skin and the hairline is so good and so effective. You should look into it.
Wow.
And so a lot of them, it depends how deep you go, but if you sort of do a microneedling session, every other week, that can be really effective just for hair growth. Just wound the skin in the area where you're thinning, and it induces through growth factor activation, follicular development. It's really, really effective. It's probably more effective than laser hair, regrowth combs.
Like the hats and things?
Yeah, those are effective.
Yeah. We had those for a while. What happened to ours?
You know what? I put it on my nightstand.
And it's gone?
We use it, and then our people put it away. And then it's out of sight, out of mind. And that's another thing that I always tell people. Listen, if you're going to buy something, supplement, put it on your shelf. Don't put it in your shelf. Don't put it in your pantry. Put it on in your right on the countertop in your kitchen, right in front of you. That way you'll use it. Because one of the main problems with all these wonderful supplements is that people to stop using them.
Right. No, that's why I've got like the old lady pill box, the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I fill it every week. I know what's going on. I love that. Then I don't have to think about it.
Yeah. So I think this microneedling, this thing you're doing with the, gold needles,
And the salmon sperm.
is next level. I don't know about salmon sperm itself. I don't really know about, they'll give you the generic, oh, it induces collagen growth. Oh, it reduces irritation, thereby leading to less redness. Prove it. I don't really know if that's true, but I think the wounding process alone is probably the most important thing with
Right.
getting done.
Well, I'm looking forward to the tightening devices going to the next level. I'm going to go have, what did I tell you I was going to have? Oh, thermage.
Oh, that's
So I've done the Morpheus 8 maybe a couple of years ago, and you have to do a series of them. But I believe the Morpheus 8 is for tightening and for something else, not just tightening. But the thermage is just strictly for tightening. I wonder if you could do it on your knees.
I doubt it would be very. It depends how much laxity you have. If you have a lot of laxity, it probably doesn't work very.
On your knees, you mean?
Yeah, on your knees. But thermage, where do you want to do it? On your neck?
Neck and face, yeah.
I think for someone at your level of facial aging, which is you're like Dorian Gray, you don't age. It's very effective. You're one of these people that, ultimately one day I'm sure you will have a facelift, but you haven't had one and you certainly don't need one yet.
I probably do.
Well, I mean, you could take a 30-year-old who's lost weight and say they need a facelift.
Right.
But you've done very, very well without having. I think you're the only person on Orange County Housewives who hasn't had a facelift, aren't you?
No, Gina hasn't had a facelift.
Gina and Jen have not, right? The others are public about it.
I don't know.
Shannon Medore is being sued by. Oh, is that not a thing?
She's being sued by who? Oh, because the money for the facelift. Oh, right.
That's no secret.
Yeah.
And Tama's talked about it, right?
Yep.
And
Emily's talked about it.
I mean, I would never disclose their personal.
No, of course not. By the way, I think it's so great that people talk about. I'm curious on your take on this. Like, I think that's great. You want to talk about what you've had done? That's fantastic. But I personally feel like if you don't want to talk about things that you've had done, that you shouldn't have to. Why is it anyone's business?
It really upsets me even when celebrities who've gotten really skinny don't want to admit to using these drugs, the new semaglutides, the miracle weight loss drugs. Stop asking them. Just because they're celebrities, they don't owe us anything. They shouldn't have to admit to us what they're doing. It's amazing how they really get ragged on. Like Kelly Clarkson, I was just on TMZ. Kelly Clarkson didn't admit it, and then she sort of kind of admitted it.
Right.
And I said, I was grateful she admitted it. I would have liked her to go a little bit further and actually identify the drug. Who's really admitting it fully? Whoopi.
Yeah.
Whoopi loves her magic shot.
Great. But I mean, what you're saying about Kelly Clarkson, I don't agree with. Why should she have to go further and say exactly what she's taking? I feel bad that she felt bullied into making a statement about it. It's like, do you ask people if they're on a beta blocker? She
went as far to say, I didn't take Ozempic, I took another medication. Well, okay. Either don't tell us or tell us, because you're in a position where you can influence and help a lot of people. And she said she was having sugar problems. So just tell us what it is. By the way, we know what it is. It's Mounjaro, because that's the only other one anyway. But it's like, if you're going to share.
You're like, if you're going to share, just say what it is. No, I understand that. But I think in general, if you, want to go on one of these drugs, you have a weight issue or whatever it is, that is your business. No one needs to know. I don't think people need to say, oh, here's what I did to my body. Here's my surgeries. Here's my workout routine. You don't owe anyone anything. If you want to share. The only thing that I have a problem with is when I know that someone has had a procedure. And when I say I know, I mean I know they've had a procedure. And then they go on an interview and someone says, "Oh, you look so young. You look so rested. What is your secret?" And they say, "Oh, it's clean living and I drink water." And that's bullshit. Don't say that, because that's not true. Say something else, redirect the question, be, coy about it, whatever you want to do. But if you're lying and just saying you're drinking water and resting and sleeping and that's why you look so good, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think, I have mixed feelings about it. But when it comes to miracle weight loss drugs, I mean, look, diets don't really work very well, right? And making better food choices and keeping control of your urges. If that were so easy, nobody would be overweight. And
Right.
so if you've lost a whole bunch of weight, and you want to blame it on, I've been doing a lot of walking, which is what Kelly Clarkson said. Wow. So what, were you just living in a chair before?
Do you love a breakfast sandwich, a buttery dinner roll, a sizzling enchilada? Oh, wait, all those things require bread. Just think of all the empty carbs. Well, with Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience that you love guilt-free. Oh my gosh, I love bread so much. You know what I love more than bread? Toasted bread. You know what I love more than toasted bread? Bread that has 0 grams of sugar, that has ultra low net carbs, and that's high in fiber. Oh my gosh, Hero Bread. It's fluffy, it's tasty, it's great for all of your favorite snacks, and the texture is incredible. Hero's Classic Plain Bagel has 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and 19 grams of protein. So whether you're trying to get more fiber in your diet, cutting down on the sugar, or adding more protein, Hero Bread is here to save the day. Plus, Hero offers these monthly small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular 2-gram net carb Hero Croissant and new surprises coming each month this year. So right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code Heather at checkout. That's Heather at HERO.co. Let's talk about Thrive Cosmetics. Thrive Cosmetics makes certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free products that you can depend on for everything daily wear to show-stopping self-expression. And it's all made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high performance and trademark formulas, and uncompromising standards. You know, I love their products so much, but I'm especially obsessed with their Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. It's this vegan tubing mascara with over 40,000 5-star reviews. There's 6 shades that last all day without clumping, no smudging, no flaking, and it makes your lashes look like extensions by lengthening and defining them from root to tip. They've donated over $150 million worth of product and cash funds to over 600 giving partners across the United States. Their donations support major causes, including those affected by cancer, homelessness, domestic abuse, and more, reaching individuals from all walks of life. So try your new trusty favorites with an exclusive set for our listeners. New customers get the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara and a mini-size Brilliant Eye Brightener, oh my God, I love that one, at a special set price with free shipping at thrivecosmetics.com/Dubrow. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/Dubrow, DUBROW.
Let's talk about plastic surgery. What are the new hot things? Because there's always trends. You've got, the Baywatch big boob era, and obviously the Kardashian big butt era is still in play. But is there anything else that's new that people are asking for?
I mean, I just think the early rejuvenation is the hot. You sort of start it before you absolutely need it. An early facelift is very big, getting.
Well, what does that mean early? Is that early in your aging process, or early meaning your actual age, or both?
In your aging process, get it. So some of these women that they're sort of 44 and they're thinking, do I want a facelift yet? I mean, sometimes it's better just to do it then. Get it over with. That way you never really age in front of us. You don't go from sort of looking one way to looking like another. But, it's easier said than done because it's expensive. You have to commit to the scary surgery and the recovery and the hiding of it all. And you got to get past your own I mean, let's face it, most of the time before you make a change, you have to hit bottom in a way, meaning you looked in the mirror, somebody shows you a picture and you go, wow, I have really aged. And that's your sort of your facial aging bottom where you go, that's enough. I want to get my facelift now, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you look in a mirror or your clothes don't fit. You go, I've got to do something about my weight, or, so I think it's sometimes better to do some things early,
Let's stick on the facelift thing for a minute, because obviously I'm obsessed. Every day I go, is it time? Is it time? Is it time? And all my friends talk about this too. So I get a lot of questions about this. So these are the questions. First of all, the biggest question that I get asked by friends is, what is a deep plain facelift versus a regular facelift? And why do we need that? Or when do we need that?
So a deep plane facelift is a much more complicated facelift where you go really deeply in the tissues, kind of below the muscles of the face where the nerves live. And the idea being that if you're in that plane, that you're getting a much longer lasting result, getting a much more significant change, and it will, look more impactful, right? Rather than just refresh, it's going to change your face. So, I think the problem with a deep plane facelift is the recovery is definitely longer. It's more technically challenging, so the risk of nerve injury is a little bit higher. But let's say you go to somebody who does it all the time, probably okay. But I find that a deep plane facelift, and most people are okay with this, they look different. You just don't look like you ever did look.
Why?
Right? Because it moves tissues into areas that weren't there before. And
so it changes the shape of your face?
Changes the shape of your face. Yeah, it does. Now, it doesn't always have to. I'm certainly not going to get up here and say if you look at plastic surgeons who do deep plane facelifts and you look at their before and afters, their afters look all good, but a high percentage of them, they look different. They just look like a different person, which is okay. You look at housewives who've undergone a lot of facelifts, and, some of the prettiest ones, they look really beautiful, but when you look at them, relative to the way they look when they started, they look like different people. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay for some people,
But if you basically like your face and you just want to be a bit rejuvenated, then maybe you wouldn't want to do a deep plane facelift.
I don't think you would necessarily do a deep plane if you're younger and you don't have that much laxity and you've got a nice facial shape, because you can just do sort of the old-fashioned smash facelift where you tighten the muscle, you do the skin, and you're just going to look like you. And in your case, your face is so amazing naturally, genetically, that I not want you to change at all, because you're just going to look different, And so I think a deep plane facelift in you might be a mistake, I think if you were to do it, you just do and all you need is a mini lift anyway, if you were to do it,
Okay, what about some people I know are getting, and I know you can't see me, people, but I'm pinching the skin right in front of my ear. And so they call it like a skin pinch facelift, right?
Yeah.
So it's I guess that's like a mid-level facelift, right? But they just call it a skin pinch.
Yeah, that's a skin only. That's not going to last for very long. And I think if you're in your early 40s, that's fine.
It's like a mini.
It's a mini, but you get what you pay for. Those are probably inexpensive and have a fast recovery. Sometimes those can be very effective. I've done facelifts under local, which are much less extensive, where you just go, whoa, that is mind-bogglingly good. And it seems to last, but that's because of their tissue characteristics.
Right.
It's not this you'd want to apply to a heavy face, or thick skin, thick sebaceous skin. So you kind of have to individualize them a bit. But at the end of the day, if you go to a surgeon who's done a lot, and who's a lot of gray hair or no hair, someone who's really spent, more than 10 years doing this stuff, you're probably going to get a good result no matter what procedure you do.
But now that you're saying all that, I feel like it's really important to go to either multiple people or people that specialize in all these different kinds of facelifts, because if you go to someone who, for example, only does deep plane facelifts, that's what they're going to sell you on.
Yeah. And by the way, deep plane facelifts are more expensive for sure. And what's
So it's like the
shocking,
lobster pasta.
I know there's a couple guys in New York, one guy I know of in Beverly Hills and one in San Diego. We rattle off their names because they're charging about $250,000 to $350,000 for a facelift now.
Who is paying that?
Yeah, they're getting people to pay for it, but I tell you, it doesn't turn out. They're mad. You are mad, pissed. And I'm defending a few of them in court because they didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't get a good result, or they had a minor complication. But for $300,000, it better go really well.
Hey, for $300,000, it better have a great piece of jewelry with it too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, a facelift should cost, depending on where you are, 20 to 40, somewhere in there. You can get a really good facelift done.
That's not Beverly Hills or New York prices.
No, it's not.
What are those
But
prices? What's the range of Beverly Hills, New York high end?
I think if you're going to an experienced person in Beverly Hills, it's going to be 60, If you're going to go to an experienced person in Beverly Hills who's got a big practice, they're going to want 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it really depends. It's funny. With my career, I'm obviously more of an anti-plastic surgery plastic surgeon.
Right.
But then I'm enthusiastic about the idea of doing things early. So how do I do those things together? I think that a lot of people I just know are going to have plastic surgery. So if you're one of those people who knows you're going to have plastic surgery, do it early. Get on the train.
Well, let me ask you this. How long should a facelift last?
So it really depends on an individual, right? So if a person has weight under control and doesn't have really thick, heavy skin, and does good skincare, I mean, I think you can get, and then that's always a question, because at the first sign of aging, does that mean it's failed? Does that mean it doesn't last anymore? It's not good enough? I think a facelift, I think if you got 10 years out of a facelift.
Oh, 10 years. That's a long time. But I mean, I in particular know people that will get a facelift more often than that.
Yeah,
Is that their physiology? Is it the facelift failed or what?
I think it's a physiology. I think it's their skin characteristics. If you're one of these who yo-yos up and down in your weight, facelifts are not going to last.
Right.
The worst thing you do for a facelift is get heavy and then lose weight.
Right, because you're stretching the skin out.
It's just going to undo it,
Let me ask you this. Take me, like our friend Caroline Stansberry.
Yeah.
Put this all on social media. So she had a facelift, and
Caroline Stansberry is amazing.
Caroline Stansberry was so transparent about her facelift. She videoed the entire process, put it on social, and we love Caroline and Sergio, and we ran into them right after it. Remember at RHOC?
She looked great.
But here's the thing: I'm watching her video. And obviously it's a highlight reel. It's not 24/7, but man, that recovery looks so gnarly. Can you kind of take us through? Because one of the things I think is a big misunderstanding or misnomer about plastic surgery is that it's surgery. I mean, because, you go in feeling good. You're not sick, have surgery, come out, get better. You go in feeling fine. You have surgery, you feel crappy. And then get back, I think people don't realize what a serious event it is. So what's the whole thing? So you get the facelift, and then what?
And then you go home, and there are some things you can do that do have cost, but you can do, typically people just elevate their face, ice it, and suffer.
Yeah. But how many days? I want to know, like, you get the facelift done, and is it 4 days of suffering till you turn the corner? When do you take the whole bandage off the head thing? The train?
You do the surgery. The next day you take the bandage off, and then you put them in a chin strap, and then let the suffering begin. And, if you're lucky, you tolerate pain pills very well. So you can take pain pills for a couple of days and maybe take some Valium. And if you have resources, you can do things like hyperbaric oxygen, very helpful. You can have post-operative IVs. And the post-op IVs not only hydrate you, make you feel better, but we can put things in the IV to really settle you down. So that's very nice. But at the end of the day, surgery is surgery, and
So when could you go out to dinner? 2 weeks, 4 weeks?
less.
Oh,
I think most, not necessarily deep plane, but most regular facelifts, I think if you have it on a Monday, you could theoretically go to dinner if you're not too bruised on Saturday.
and then what about the incisions? So when I think about a facelift, I think there's incision that goes like kind of in front of the ear and then
Yeah,
under the earlobe and then behind the ear, right?
right. So you make
Good.
you make one in front of the ear, going all the way back along the hairline, and maybe sometimes you have it here too when you want to sew up the muscles in the neck.
Under the chin?
Yeah, it's. I think most people have a little bit of separation of these muscles here, and you can see when you look in the mirror. Do you have these bands? I do,
I get
and
Botox for that.
yeah, Botox can be effective, but nothing's better than just sewing them back together again. Like it's like the tummy tuck of the face. When your muscles separate after kids, you sew them together. Sort of with aging, the muscles in the chin, the neck and chin area separate. You sew them together. So, a facelift, we plastic surgeons love doing facelifts. I'll tell you why. We love them because they help pay the overhead in a very substantial way.
Very lucrative.
Very lucrative. They're very fun to do. And it's got to be the most impactful thing on the face you can do besides taking a big bump off the nose, And so we love the facelift. All plastic surgeons love to do it.
It's a sad day when you reach that age when bread becomes the enemy. Well, with Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love guilt-free. Oh my gosh, I love their Hawaiian rolls. Their small drop croissants are insane. Their tortillas, so good. Their baked goods are flavorful and delicious, but have ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and are high in fiber. It's fluffy, it's tasty, it's great for all your favorite snacks, and the texture is incredible. Hero's Classic Plain Bagel has 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and 19 grams of protein. Do you love a breakfast sandwich, a buttery dinner roll, a sizzling enchilada? Hero has you covered. So whether you're trying to get more fiber in your diet, cutting down on sugar, or adding more protein, Hero Bread is here to save the day. Plus, Hero offers monthly small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular 2-gram net carb Hero Croissant and new surprises coming each month this year. Right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code Heather at checkout. That's Heather at HERO.co. Let's Talk is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedies, celebrity interviews, news, or even motivational speakers, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, then they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. Now that's something you want to press play on all day. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to choose the best option for you fast. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Companies and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout, envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Maybe you just want to visualize where your bar cart will go. At apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you could see the exact unit you could be living in. You can literally envision yourself in your new home with apartments.com, the place to find a place. How long does it take for those incisions to heal in a real way? Because, I see people when they get the facelift, the hair is down, right? When is the ponytail back?
Probably 3 weeks.
And you can't see them?
I mean, if you look closely enough. By the way, anyone who's had a facelift, all you have to do is go like this and take a look. They will have a scar.
He's saying to push your ear forward.
Yeah, push your ear forward. You can see a scar. So even the best scar is still a scar. So, but that's okay. I mean, I think people are so open about facelifts now that, I mean, if I were to have a facelift, which I don't see me having a facelift anytime soon, my approach would be, I'd say, I'm going to have a facelift,
And just do it.
I would tell people, but I don't want a facelift. I think I'm going to I think I'm going to go off into the wilderness without a facelift. I don't. I might have my lower eyes done.
Really?
Might. I think my lower eyelids make me look very tired.
Let me see. Put your face in the camera. Let's do a pre-op.
Right here and here.
Here, do a pre-op on yourself for your eyes, uppers and lowers.
I mean, I could use a little bit of skin taken from my upper.
No, let's say you're you and you just walked into you.
I'd say, look, you have some excess upper eyelid skin, but if you take too much, you're going to look done. So let's take a sliver just to open up the eyelids a little bit, and let's tighten your lower eyelids and get it more like this. You'll look a lot less tired. You'll look better. But like I'll do that, and then I'll get really tired, and I'll still look tired. But I think that's something I would do depending on what's going on in my life. If I was off TV permanently, or at least my shows were done for a while, probably less interested, in doing my eyelids.
You're only vain if you're seeing yourself on TV.
I mean, it's a visual medium, so you want to look good. You want to feel good about the way you look.
Right.
I mean, I'm 65. I'm self-conscious about my hair. I do things to maximize my hair. But I think to myself, at what point do you stop? At what point do you just go, I'm good,
I don't think you ever do. I mean, look, your mom got Botox, what, a year ago?
Well, I think with a guy and a facelift, it starts to look really oddly suspicious if you're 70 and you have had
you're so tight.
Yeah, it can look weird,
Yeah, but I think also you've talked about this before. Male plastic surgery is just a whole different animal. If you're a guy or you have someone in your life that's male, you got to make sure that you see a lot of male before and afters in their books, because there's a lot of celebrity men out there older that you could see they took too much eyelid skin and their eyes look very feminine.
Yeah. Well, what I've noticed is the extraordinarily handsome celebrities that are around my age or a little bit younger than me. You know who they are. I don't want to name their names.
Yeah.
But I mean, like A++ list celebrities and even some A-list TV celebrities who you see all the time. They've all had facelifts, all of them.
Yeah. They look good though.
The only one I think has not had a facelift, I don't think Robert Downey Jr.'s had a facelift. I really don't. He still looks really good. But big A-list movie stars have, and a couple of them don't look that good after their facelift. One in particular.
And why do you think that is? See, this is the thing, and this is why so many of us are scared to do things, because how do you avoid that? How do you avoid looking weird or touched or any of that?
I think, first of all, fat transfer to the face, you have to be really careful with that, because fat transfer to the face, we tend to put more in than we need because we know it's going to absorb. But what if it doesn't absorb? What if you end up getting more? And there's a celebrity right now I can think of who's a giant celebrity, maybe the top male celebrity right now, who I'm sure has had fat transfer to his face along with some kind of facelift. And he just doesn't look like him anymore.
You looks like, tell me who later.
Yes. He doesn't look that good. But these other giant A-list guys, they look great,
So answer that question. So how do you avoid that? So no fat transfer to the face. Got it.
Fat transfer, be very, very judicious with your filler. I think if past a certain age, don't do filler, And Botox, you can do as much Botox as you want. Because, even if it looks a little funky,
it wears off.
It wears off. I mean, you know who's had, so, I never talk about people's plastic surgery, but I'm going to, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Biden obviously has had every single thing you can do to your face, 100%. He's had his uppers, his lowers, his hair, his facelift. I mean, and it's okay, but should you be 78 and have no laxity in your skin, have no lines in your eyes, and have no upper or lower eyelid skin? I don't know. I don't want to look that way,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's it starts to be the look. I mean, there's that funny meme on Instagram where they show the cast of the Golden Girls and the cast of Sex and the City, and they go, they're the same exact age.
Right.
Because people look different now. So the question is that just what people of that age look like now? Or will that be the look?
Yeah. What I like is, Robert De Niro, for example. I don't know if he's had a facelift, but he's clearly not having facelifts. He's letting his face age. Al Pacino has stopped having facelifts, I think. He's now bought into hey, I've got neck laxity, and that's what you have when you're in your 70s. And so I like that look. Now, this is just my personal preference. This is not a judgment at all. If someone wants to have no facial laxity in their 70s and 80s, that's okay. I just think it looks a little funky. I mean, I think Biden looks a little funky, don't you?
There's so much more to unpack there, but yes. All right. So in the spirit of our 25th wedding anniversary, changing gears here a little bit, before we go, we're going to play a little game. Not a game, a quiz. It's a quiz.
All right, let's play it.
We're going to have a little quiz. We're going to have a little 25th anniversary quiz.
Okay.
It's not really a quiz, but it's your opinion on things. Here we go. Gabby came up with this, our producer. So here we go. And then maybe I have some quiz questions as well. Okay. What was your first impression of each other?
I thought your face was excessively beautiful and you had a flat chest. And I was completely wrong because you had big boobs. You were wearing a minimizer or something.
It was the dress. I thought he was old. What is your favorite?
37.
You were 38.
7 when we met.
38. We met in December. You had your birthday. You were 38. I was 27 and you were almost 40. Okay. What's your favorite memory from your wedding day?
After it was done and we went back and ate all the food.
Yes, that's mine too. So we didn't get to eat a lot during the wedding because, you're dancing and walking around and talking to everyone. The wedding was over and we went back. We were at the Beverly Hills Hotel and we had that big, beautiful suite. I think it's called Suite 1, right?
Sunset Suite, maybe.
Sunset Suite? Yeah. So. And gorgeous big suite with a piano and everything. And they put like some of all of the food from our wedding in our room. And then each of our guests had an individual 2-tiered wedding cake and they left one of those in there too. And we chowed. And I know we were so happy. I remember Terry put on scrubs to get comfy to eat. And I just loved my dress so much. I kept it on and we sat on the sofa in there and we just ate and talked and we sort of recapped the whole night. That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite way to spend quality time together?
I like going out to dinner with you because it allows us, because we have such varied careers and things change and new stuff happens all the time. It's really a wonderful moment of like you and I just sitting together alone, just you and me staring at each other talking.
I agree. And I would say that for any meal. And I would also say it anytime we're alone, when we're not working or have phones, because usually when we have phones, there's still work to be done. It's not like we don't sit next to each other scrolling Instagram. But obviously, if there's kids, there's work, there's whatever. But if we're anywhere where that's not viable, in the car, on a walk, at dinner, at lunch together, traveling alone, it's just focused. Awesome time. I love that. Who is more likely to win in a game of trivia between the two of you? You, for sure.
Maybe.
Totally.
But who's more likely to win in a strategic game of chance? You, for sure.
What do you mean?
You outgame me. If we play like we were given a standard kind of puzzly game, you'd win. For sure.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like I kick your ass in backgammon.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to play Clue.
No.
And you couldn't figure out the Rubik's Cube game.
No.
Okay, right. Okay, fair. Who is more likely to be the spontaneous one in the relationship?
You.
Isn't that weird? Because I'm such a planner, but I actually can be very spontaneous.
Very, yeah.
What's a small gesture that always brightens your partner's day?
You love when I call you in the middle of the day and tell you niceties.
I do.
Yeah. Or when I text you.
I love it all.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do I do that brightens your day?
I like when same thing, really. When there's a communication when you don't expect one. I like when
Yeah, good.
I like when you make a noise. You call me with one of our noises.
Like, Hanya?
You get silly, or you text me as something like you texted me BPF. That whole cracked me up. That's no PBF. Remember that?
It's an inside joke we have, yes.
We have a lot. We have. It's funny, remember the movie Ghost? Prove that
Ditto. Yeah.
Ditto. You and I have so many dittos. It's ridiculous.
I know. Our kids are always like, oh my God, the two of them. I know what you like too. You like when I buy you random things that you need, that you love, like the flashlight
Yeah.
or, like vitamin D or a nail
Yeah.
cutter.
Yeah, I like little knickknacks.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, you always brighten my day. I get excited just when you come home.
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of times I don't want to talk on the phone. Well, I don't want to talk on the phone anymore. Talking on the phone is dead.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk on the phone with you because I want to save our time. I don't want, I don't want to blow my wad. I want to hang out. And I look forward to, spending that time together.
Yeah. That's something that Terry and I do is if I call him, he's on his way home, whatever, and he'll say, hey, what happened with such and such? I'll say, oh, well. And he goes, no. Don't tell me. Save it for dinner. I want to enjoy this. I'm like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Who is the better driver between the two of you?
Me, for sure.
Well, that's easy. Well, no, you terrify me in the car.
Yeah. How many tickets and accidents have I had since you've known me?
Okay. Whatever. You're scary. What's a skill or a hobby you'd like to learn together?
Nothing. I'm really nothing because my job is my hobby and my job is a skill, and I don't want a new skill. You?
I don't think I need a new skill. I would like to delve into a couple of languages in the next few years if there's time. Like, we love Paris so much. I really didn't take very much French. I have a very rudimentary understanding of it, very low. But it would be nice to be able to just speak a little conversational French. I don't need to be fluent, but just a little something.
I think, had I had access to these computers and these apps and headphones when I was learning Spanish, I think it'd be very easy, given my level of intensity, to learn a language right now, except I'm a little older, but because me, I can sit there for 2 hours and do anything every single day.
It's good for the brain. It's so good for the brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap things up, what would you like people to know about how to have a successful 25-year marriage?
I think, I always say the same thing. Pick your battles wisely. Let it go. Let it go. You know what I mean? And be grateful that you have this person in your life. Be grateful that you're alive, and don't expect challenges, negative things to not happen. And so if you expect them to happen, you're not disappointed when they happen. You just know that, oh, okay, this is a kind of a bad thing I have to get through. So you don't overreact to it. Don't overreact. Dampen down your sensitivities, because when you overreact, you say things you don't mean, and then you go down paths that are hard to come back from.
Yeah, I think I agree with all that. Being less reactive is a really important one. Hard to do when you're younger and a little more, sort of passionate and volatile. But as you get older, it's easier to do that things. And I think the only other thing I would add to everything you just said is be respectful of each other.
Yeah. Oh, and go to bed, Matt.
Yeah.
Go to bed, Matt. Don't go to bed and try to say, we've got to fix this before you go to sleep. You're never going to fix it. Go to bed, Matt.
Sometimes it's okay to walk away. Yeah.
It's like, when you're pissed off at a person, don't call them right away. Put 2 days
Don't
behind.
send the email.
No, wait 2 days. Go to bed mad. Don't talk in the morning. Leave and just let it cool down.
All right. Well, that's our show today. Thank you for being here. If you want to give Terry any ideas for something special he could do for our 25th wedding anniversary, because he doesn't have any, and I'm not giving him mine, go message him at Dr. Dubrow. I'm sure he'd love that.
I would.
And I love you.
I love you too.
And I'm excited for our trip, and I'm excited for our anniversary. And I know we joke and we say it's been going on and on and on, and all the funny things we say because we're together so long, almost 28 years total. But
Right.
honestly, I feel like, I was looking through our wedding album and to me, it was like yesterday. Honestly,
Yeah.
I remember being there. I remember what it smelled like. I remember what it looked like. I remember what it felt like, all of those things. And I'm excited for the next 25.
Me too. I love it.
I love you. Okay. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.